Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name's Teresa and I'm the Car Boot Crafter, and I'm coming on today with the next instalment of my Countdown to Christmas series. And today's project is making these cute little paper Christmas trees. Now these ones, as you can see, have got wire in them so you can hang them in the Christmas tree. What I usually do is use this used to be, or it was, a paper clip that I've just straightened out a little bit, and then you just hook it like that and then hook it onto the branch of your Christmas tree, and it'll hang down, so when you've got your tinsel and everything on there you won't usually see the paper clip, but that's how I hang mine from the tree. Let's pop them back. With this one, because I also want to do some table decorations, what I've done is I've used a barbecue stick, and instead of pushing the wire through, because we go through the bottom upwards, I've pushed the barbecue stick through and stopped when it gets to the top here, rather than pushing all the way through, and glued it in place. And that then will very easily go into something like an oasis or foam, whatever you're using for your table decorations. So let me show you how to make these ones. I'm not going to show you with the barbecue stick, I'll show you with the wire, but I'll let you know when you would replace it with the barbecue stick if you wanted to do the tabletop decorations. So you will need, to make these, you will need a strip of paper that measures 5/8 of an inch by 12 inches, or 1.5 centimeters by 30 centimeters. And I've used patterned paper, you can use whatever you like, and that's to make the star, the lucky star that goes on the top of the tree. Now because this is a little bit fiddly, and because it takes a while, I've done a supplementary video on how to do this. There's lots out there already, and most crafters will probably know how to make one of these cute little lucky stars, but if you don't, check out the supplementary video. I'll pop that there because I'll need it later. So you'll need your strip of paper. You'll also need 4 pieces, and you can use scrap paper for this, which is great. I have used the Christmas Moments pack from Poundland for my project today. So you'll need those 4 pieces. One is 3.5 by 3.5 inches, which is 9 by 9 centimeters. One is 3 by 3 inches, or 7.5 by 7.5 centimeters. This one is 2.5 by 2.5 inches, or 6.3 by 6.3 centimeters, and this one is 2 by 2 inches, or 5 by 5 centimeters. And quite honestly, it doesn't matter as long as it's a square of paper, and you can make these much bigger than I have here if you wanted to. It's just making sure you have a consistent decrease in size of your papers. Now to get me started, I've already done these 3 because they're a little bit smaller, and with my fingers you won't be able to see very well. So I'm going to do the top one, and I'm also going to show you first of all on a 6 by 6 piece of paper, just so that you can see it more clearly as I'm folding. But we will be using the 3.5 by 3.5 piece as well. Right, so you'll get your square of paper regardless of what size, and you'll flip it over so the pattern that you want showing is face down. Now for me, I'm just using one-sided paper, but if you've got double-sided, just bear in mind that whatever pattern you face down will be the pattern that you will see. So you're going to do a simple point-to-point fold, and this is where you'll find out if you have a true square or not, because the points will invariably show you if they don't match up. So I'm going to use my bone folder to just smooth out those points like that. And once you've done that, you're going to open it up again, and flip it over so that the pattern you want showing is facing you. And then you're going to do an edge to edge fold. So again, folding it in half, but this time matching up those edges like that, and giving, oh, not quite there, and then giving it a simple fold down using your bone folder. Again, you're going to open it up, turn it round and fold again, edge to edge. So let's just pop that there, and again using my bone folder to fold all of that down and open it out. Now you fold it over again, flip it over so that we have the point to point fold is a valley fold like that. Now I'm going to bring in a pencil because I think this will help because it is on white. So we've got our point to point fold going diagonally like that, okay, and we have our edge to edge folds going across like that, okay. So with the point facing away from you, what you're going to do is you're going to match this crease here. You're going to bring it up and line it up with this crease here. So it's the diagonal crease, miss that fold, and it's this fold at the bottom here. So the way I do it is I turn it on a slight angle to me. I'm going to pop my finger there because I want to make the lines I'm creating intersect through that middle again. So I'm going to bring that up, making sure I've got that crease fold, and I'm going to line it up with that. So I'm just bringing it over. I'll show you in a minute. And what happens is it brings all of this around. Let me just bring that down and you can see. Brings all of that down like that. And if you've got it all at the intersection, you should have a good crease there. It'll look like this. Let me just do it again. It'll look like this from the other side. So we've got a good match of that crease there along this diagonal crease here, okay. And once you're happy that that's fully matched up, you'll bring in your bone folder and flatten down the others, those bows there, to make a nice crease mark, and you end up with your paper like that, okay. The important thing with this is to make sure that it goes through that point in the middle there where all the other creases and lines intersect. So it's gone through there, okay. We're going to do exactly the same on this side. So I've got my diagonal line there. I'm going to miss this line here. I'm going to miss that line that we've just created, and I'm going to bring this fold here up, and I'm going to match it with that diagonal fold there. So I'm hoping you can see how that has lined up with that diagonal fold there. So if I just release that, and then I'm going to bring in my bone folder again, and I'm going to make sure I'm in that intersection there, and I'm going to crease that down like that, and I'm going to do the same the other side. Let's move those bits of tree out the other way. I'm going to open it up, and now I've got two lines going across like that. So all of my creases meet in that central point there, okay. Then I've got like a kite mark here, kite shape should I say, here on this side, and a kite shape on this side where I've got those new score marks that I've just put in, or creases I've just put in. So I've got that there and this here. Now what we want to do, and the reason we were very careful to make sure with our initial folds that we had the paper we wanted facing away to do the point to point, and then the edge to edge we've got it facing us, was so now I can start bringing these two, not the ones with the kite shape, but these two here. I can start bringing these up, and as I bring them up, those two new crease marks that we made are going to start to come in like that. So we're going to carry on with that, pushing it all in together, and as it comes together we're then going to crease it all down so we get a shape that comes together like that. Okay, so we've got the two wings and that central bit, and that's the shape that we are looking for to make our Christmas tree. And it doesn't matter how big the square is, you will get the same shape. So once again, I'll open it out. We've got all our crease marks in, and to pull it all together, kite marks top and bottom, pinch these two in together, and as you do, all those score marks that you've already done will start coming together. You push that middle bit in and it will all come together in that shape. Okay, I'll do it again a bit quicker with the 3.5 by 3.5. So paper down, pattern that I want on the outside, point to point, and crease it down like that. Open it out, flip the paper over, and it's an edge to edge fold. And you're going to do this with all 4 pieces of paper. Open it out, turn it 90 degrees, and another edge to edge fold like that. Okay, open it out, flip it over, and then this score mark here we're going to line up with the diagonal score mark there. So making sure it goes through that mark in the middle, I'm going to bring it up and line it up, line up those 2 score marks, and when I'm happy I'm going to put my finger there and just use the bone folder to create a score. Open it up again, turn it slightly, and do exactly the same on the other side. So I've got my diagonal line there. This is the line here that I want to use, so I'm going to bring it up, making sure I'm going through that central line, line it all up like that, and then using my fingers and my bone folder go across like that. Open it up again, and the 2 pieces that haven't got those extra score lines in, I'm going to squeeze together and it'll all come together, and I'm going to push it into the middle, and we have our shape. So as I said, you're going to do that with all 4 pieces of card. You're then going to do your lucky star using that strip. So I've got my lucky star, and I've got my 3 other pieces of paper that I'd already folded. I'm going to grab a pair of scissors, which I had here 1 second ago, so of course they have disappeared. Got it. And I'm going to take off on all 4 pieces the very tip. We only need a tiny amount. I mean, you know, you can hardly see how much I've taken off there, but because it's folded the way it is, we get a hole that's big enough for our wire to go through. Now let me talk to you about the wire. So it's very simple crafting wire that I'm using on a roll, and it's 6 inches. We won't need the full 6 inches in the finished product because we'll chop some off, but we will need it to start off with. So I'm just going to leave it there, and then I'm going to chop off the points of all of the other ones. This is just so as we can get our wire through, or if you are using something like a barbecue stick, you will need to take into account the size of the barbecue stick, because it is quite a lot thicker, so maybe take a little bit more than the very point. Now then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my trees down, my tree branches in order. So I've got them all in size order. This just helps me putting it together. You might not need to do this, but it's one of my things. I just need it. Otherwise, I know I'm going to mix them all up. You're going to take your first one, and on your ignore this one because we're not using this size, but we've got these little flaps either side. What we want to do with those flaps is join it all together. So when I put them together, I'm putting the point of it in, and then I'm going to manipulate it so that they tuck. So these pieces here tuck under these pieces here. So if I pop it in like that, in the middle like that, and then tuck it in there, tuck it in that side, flip it over and do the same on here. So that one's tucked under and that one is already tucked under, and that then actually holds it quite well, but I'm going to use a little bit of glue just to hold it. So I'm going to pop that to one side, and then I'm going to start on the actual size for the tree. So this is the next size up. I'm going to pop it in the middle there, and then I'm going to just tuck that under on both sides there. It is a little bit fiddly, especially if the other side is fighting me like it is on this one. Tuck it under like that, flip it over and do exactly the same on the other side. Tip it, tuck it under like that, and then manipulate it to where you want it to go. I'm going to use a little bit of glue just to hold it all in place, because I want it to be on my tree over the whole of the festive season. So I'm going to take it apart, and we only need a tiny bit of glue, and I'm going to pop it behind there. Okay, they will hold, so if you don't want to use glue, that's entirely up to you, but I am on this instance, so let's pop it back on. Okay, because they do hold quite well even when you haven't got glue on them, to be honest. It's the paper holding each sheet together, and then tuck it under on this side as well. There we go. Like I said, it's a little bit fiddly, and you have to make sure you get all four of them all tucked in. Once it's tucked in, manipulate it to what length you want for your, your branches, because this will have an impact on the overall size of the Christmas tree. So there we are. Make sure you line up your edges like that, and then do the next one. Now I'm going to put the glue on now, as I'm not demonstrating how to do this now, because I've already shown you. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue behind each of those folds, just a tiny little amount, just enough to hold the paper. Bringing in the next one. Now the reason I've lined them up is because I know my next one is there. Just helps me to keep organized, especially when because I'll batch make these. I've already got a few made, but I will batch make them. So I'll cut all my papers first, I'll then match them together, and then I will do all my folds, and I'll keep all of my different sizes in a little basket on the front, and then I will start putting them together like this. And then the last thing I will do is add the wire and the tree, not the tree, the star, the lucky star. So just want to manipulate that just a little bit higher. And this is the problem with this sometimes, because it does hold. the papers together really well already. So that's that done. And then the top piece, I'm going to put a little bit of glue behind, and you might decide actually I'm not going to put glue on all 4 of the wings or the branches or whatever you want to call them. You might just want to put it on 1 or 2, or you might even want to put it inside. This is just the way that I put them all together, and this is an idea that's been around for some time. I first did this, made these trees, gosh, probably when my children were quite young, as part of our Christmas crafting on the lead up to Christmas. So took that in. So if the children can do it, then I think we're okay with that. Okie dokes. Right, I would have liked that one to go up a little bit, but I think my glue has, oh no, not quite gone off. I thought it might have gone off already, but it's not quite. So I'm able to bring that up a little bit more. So that's the tree done. Bring that down. So that's the tree done. I'm just going to reinforce those crease marks. Now sometimes you get a little bit of white showing, and you can either use your scissors to match that up so that it doesn't show, or a little bit of ink, entirely up to you. Or if it doesn't bother you, then don't worry about it at all. Now bringing in our lucky star, just going to see, of course I can't find my bone fold, my pokey tool when I need it, so let me just see if I can find it wherever I've put it. Oh goodness, see, I get everything ready and then things happen. There it is, right in front of me. So I want my pokey tool, something with a sharp edge. It doesn't have to be a pokey tool. And then decide which way you like your lucky star. Now that's, to me, is a lovely front. I like that. And the back's not too bad either. And what you're going to do is get your pokey tool, and in the crease on this side, you're just going to push it through. Hold the star carefully, and I've pushed it through. And you're going to go all the way through to this point up here, so all the way through to there. And because actually the way it folds, there isn't much by way of paper on each of those corners or those edges that we're going through, it goes through pretty easy. So I'm going to pull it back out again, and this is where I bring in my wire. So I've got my piece of 6-inch wire. It's useful to use something like jewellery making pliers, but if you haven't got them, don't worry too much. You can usually use something like your scissors to cut the wire, and then use your fingers to shape. So you could easily, this step, you could easily do your twists using something like a pencil to go round. I'm going to untwist that because I'm going to use my jewellery making pliers to do it. So just put on the bottom, just put a larger than you would normally do for jewellery making twist on the bottom there. But you won't see this because it's going to be inside the tree. So I've got a twist on it, and then I'm going to use it that way. I think that's probably going to be best for me, is to use it that way. So I'm going round and twisting it so that it comes straight up that way. Doesn't matter, you know, do whatever you want at the bottom, but you need something here so that it doesn't pull all the way through. So that's going to anchor inside. I'm then going to get my tree, and this is why we snipped the points off all of the tree, because now we want to feed our wire through. So I'm just pushing that through the middle, and it quite easily goes all the way through. I haven't had to push or pull or worry about that, and that's really useful because this is really soft wire. So I'm going to make sure that that goes all the way inside, and when it gets to the top, it'll stop pulling Okay, and now as you can see, you can't see it, it's vanished up there. So I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to get my lucky star, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to push this through the bottom of the lucky star all the way through to the top. Now this can sometimes be a little bit fiddly, but that's worked really well. And once you've got it on like that, I'm going to grab my glue and I'm going to put a little bit of glue, let me bend it like that, and a little bit of glue round where that wire is poking out, and that then will spread over the top of my tree here and hold it in place. So I'm just going to push that down on there and push it in place. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to use my jewelry making pliers. Again, use your fingers or whatever you've got to hand, especially if you've got a nice soft wire like this, it'll move quite easy, and that then will hold your tree and the star in place. So once I've got my twist on, I'm now going to use my cutting pliers. Again, usually with craft wire you don't have to worry too much about jewelry making pliers. A pair of scissors would easily cut. I'm now going to cut that until it's about, let me have a look, I'm going to cut it and then I'll tell you how long that piece of wire is. That's 2 centimeters, so I've got 2 centimeters there. I'm going to grab my round nose pliers again, and I'm just going to put a nice loop on that so that I can pop it on the tree. Make sure it meets up. I'm not the best at jewelry making or to manipulating wires, and to be honest, because it'll be on the tree, it doesn't really matter. Now if you wanted to do the barbecue one, instead of pushing the wire through, just push a barbecue stick through, but make sure you don't go through the top. So when you are doing your star, only go through that there, don't come through the top, and that then will help. And there you have it, your Christmas tree ornaments. And you can decorate it with bits of bling or glitter, which is probably what I'm going to do, is maybe get some bling and pop it on there. Let's see if I've got anything to hand, which of course I have. Oh, yes. So I can then use my pointy tool and put some of these little jewels on there. Oops. Decorate it up so that it looks even more Christmassy. So on down the front and maybe even on the sides, and or glitter. I could put glitter on there as well if I wanted to, anything you like. And if you do something a little bit bigger, you could even put use some patterned papers that shows pictures or sentiments on there as well. So I'm going to do it on both sides. I'm not going to show you me doing it on both sides because we'll be here all day, but this is the sort of thing that I'm going to do with my trees. I think certainly what I've done in the past is use glitter and a little bit of bling, and there's no reason why you can't chop and change. Oh, that one's got no glue on. And certainly chop and change and use it as you like. So I hope you enjoyed that project. I hope you'll give it a go. It's certainly one that we've done a few times over the years as a family, and I always do find such good fun to make. And then you can keep them. Sometimes they'll last year on year, especially if you've glued them, or you can do them every year as you change your patterns and your designs for your tree or your house decorations, whatever you feel you need to. But yeah, I think I've made a good start in getting them ready for our Christmas tree this year. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out the rest of the videos in the series, and I'll be back with another one shortly. Bye for now.